Polyfriend, 36F, is mad that friends, 2935F, are not supportive of her lifestyle. Polyfriend is angry that friend group is not more accepting. If you want the whole backstory, you can read my previous post. If you don't, here is a quick summary. My friend Ashley has come out as polyamorous/pansexual and would talk about nothing else non-stop to the point where no one wanted to talk to her anymore. I finally said something, and no one in our friend group stood up for her. She got super pissed, called me a bigoted prude and stopped speaking to all of us. Anyway, what's happened since is that Ashley has started talking again like nothing has happened, and this includes talking non-stop about her latest boy/girl/whatever friend. It's become all she is. It's literally the line under her FB profile picture, pansexual polyamorous mama. The problem is that this time it's not just me telling Ashley that no one wants to hear about her sex life anymore. A few days ago, several of our other friends have also told her very explicitly that she and her husband are invited to places being Zoom right now, but whatever new partner she has is not welcome. Ashley then lost her shit, started blowing up everyone's phone trying to get them on her side and becoming more and more angry when no one is coming to her aid. On one hand, I get why she's mad, but on the other hand, it's really clear that she and our group of friends have grown apart. It sucks, but it happens. My problem is at this point I don't know what to do. We used to have all these group chats, and everyone has just made new ones excluding Ashley. To me this feels cruel and really juvenile, but I'm not sure what to do. I don't want to hear about Ashley's sex life anymore, and I don't want to have lunches with a constantly revolving door of her sex partners either. I'm happy that she's happy, but I also don't want that as part of my life. I'm not sure what to tell her, but I feel like I need to tell her something, almost breaking up with her as a friend. Any advice? Too long didn't read. My poly friend has become boring and her sexuality is her whole personality as a result is iced out. I'm not sure what to tell her, but I feel like I need to tell her something. You should tell her, I'm happy that she's happy, but I don't want to hear about Ashley's sex life anymore, and I don't want to have lunches with a constantly revolving door of her sex partners either. One of my friends is into BDSM. We talked about it a few times in relation to the 50 Shades movie that she hates, or one day when we went shopping in London and went to a specialized shop and I was curious. But other than that, what she does in her bedroom never comes up in a conversation. We talk about thousands of stuff. If her sexuality is her only subject of conversation, it's weird and certainly not respectful if you're not into it. If Ashley got really into rock climbing and talked about absolutely nothing else every time you saw her, this would be less complicated. It's crappy that she doesn't have enough self-awareness to realize that it's weird to have lunch with someone you barely know and won't see again, whose only connection to your friend is that they're banging. And it also sucks that she can't recognize that hearing about her sex life all the time is super boring and irritating, but you've tried talking to her about it and she isn't receptive. This really blows. But in that scenario, it's not rude to ice her out because she's basically icing you out of a regular conversation with her. Her needs aren't reasonable for most people. Maybe keep her on the back burner till the novelty of her new lifestyle wears off a little and her entire personality isn't about it. If that never happens, then maybe you two are just growing apart. If she's let the poly life be the only thing she's about and you don't want part in that, it is time to cut the cord yourself as well. She's forcing herself out. She's become completely obnoxious and you've all given her multiple chances to act like a normal friend. She's so obsessed with this identity that she's fine alienating her friends and family to do it. Let her go. Honestly, you don't need that drama. Me, 34F, with my ex-husband, 35M, married 8 years, separated for almost 2 years. How do I tell him I don't want to hear from him anymore in a tactful way? For some background, we met in college, and he was the first person I'd ever really seriously dated. We got married when we were 24. The 6 months prior to getting married, he had an emotional affair with a friend of mine. A month after we got married, he cheated with her. We eventually decided to move to a different state to try to work things out between us. This effort lasted about 7 more years, until I told him I wanted a divorce 2 years ago. During the time we were trying to make it work, he became depressed and anxious. Both his parents died. I became his caretaker basically. He couldn't drive or leave the house due to panic attacks. He had 0 friends. He refused to seek help. I was an enabler. I lost friends and was deeply unhappy for these years. He was manipulative and selfish, and eventually I came to realize that he did not value me as a person, and would always put his own needs in front of mine, no matter what. Even asking him to help me clean the house we shared would send him off, and by the time he was finished, I would believe that I was selfish for expecting him to help me. Every time I expressed a boundary, or a need, or a wish, if it was inconvenient for him at all, he would fuck with my head until I somehow believed I didn't need that boundary. Even with sex stuff that was uncomfortable for me, he made me believe I couldn't be a good partner unless I satisfied those needs, even though I got no pleasure out of it, and had expressed many times that it was a boundary I didn't want to cross. I felt used. Started to go to bed earlier than him to avoid him trying to instigate anything. Or I would sleep on the couch whenever I could justify it. I didn't really know that the relationship was emotionally abusive, I just thought it was normal. It wasn't until I finally got the courage to leave that he started threatening suicide to get me to stay. We went to counseling, but for me it was just about closure. For him, he didn't want to let go. He tried everything he could to convince me to stay, but I knew I would rather take any risk than continue in the relationship. It was so manipulative. I saw it for what it was, and my role in his life, and I felt so devalued and used. After about a year of living apart, I really started to understand how bad the dynamic was for me, and it was like I had to rebuild my personality. I was extremely fearful of interactions with him, but I also still felt somehow responsible for his feelings. I still felt like I needed to be careful what I said to him, to make sure he felt calm. Therapy is helping me unpack all this. I now have a cat, several amazing friends, a cute apartment, and a great career path. A few days ago, he called me. We haven't seen each other in a year, or spoken, only a few short texts mostly about the divorce or the animals. So when he called I was surprised. He said he wasn't angry anymore, and he didn't hate me anymore, and he was bored and thought maybe we could talk more often, like as friends. My heart rate went up and I just didn't know what to say. I tried to act normal, while I figured it out, but my instincts were like, don't tell him anything about your life. Be vague. Hang up soon and pretend like this didn't happen. I don't think he understands how much our marriage fucked me up. Or he doesn't care. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I am in therapy now, and trying to work through understanding why I was so willing to put myself in such a fucked up, shitty relationship for so long. I don't want his voice in my ear. I don't trust him. I don't know if he has some other motive, like he's testing the waters to see if there are still feelings. I feel all kinds of fucked up and paranoid. The divorce still isn't final and I don't want him to do anything vindictive to mess with it. But I also just don't want to hear from him. How do I tell him not to contact me anymore without making him do anything to fuck with my head again, or fuck with the divorce? I am so scared that if I confront him that way, something bad will happen, and I don't know why I have that feeling. I just wish I could ignore it and it would go away, but that is not reality. Sorry if this reads like nonsense. Not used to asking for help or talking about this topic. Too long didn't read. How do I carefully tell my ex-husband, who was emotionally manipulative to me for many years, not to contact me again, without feeling so afraid of the possible retaliation? He said he wasn't angry anymore, and he didn't hate me anymore, and he was bored and thought maybe we could talk more often, like as friends. Oh, how generous of him to not be angry anymore. Note that there was zero interest in what you might be feeling. It's still all about him. He has forgiven you. He isn't angry anymore. He is bored. you don't factor in at all. He's just amusing himself by finding out how easily he can crawl back into your life. You are correct to be suspicious of this. Don't take the bait. There's no need to have any sort of confrontation, just don't pick up if/when he calls. Don't respond to texts unless it's absolutely necessary. You divorced him, you do not need a clearer way to tell him to get out of your life. He's not going to be confused about why you don't want to speak to him, even if he pretends otherwise. Until your divorce is final, I would keep repeating the phrase until everything is final on the divorce. All communication should go through a lawyer's. Rinse and repeat, regardless of what he escalates to. If he starts threatening self-harm, call the police. Never vary from the repeated message, or all you're doing is teaching him what is required to get your attention. Once your divorce is final, just block him. I can even simplify this to my lawyer advised me it's not a good idea for us to be talking until the divorce is finalized. Then once the divorce is done, it's to heal and move forward with my life. It's best we keep our personal lives to ourselves. Why are you so concerned with being polite to your abuser? Finalize the divorce, move on, and cut all contact. Our relationship was damaging to me. Please don't contact me again. You're scared of what he might do because your instincts have come back online and are telling you that he's a danger to you. Maybe not physically, but he's emotionally manipulative and you don't need that in your life. Talk to your lawyer and ask them if your ex can mess things up, work through some strategies and be prepared. And then tell him your lawyer suggests you don't talk until the divorce is finalized, and then block him. Can you tell him that you're only supposed to communicate through the lawyers until the divorce is final? Imply that you'd want to be friends after all the legal nonsense is settled to keep him from freaking out. If you have a lawyer, they will tell you not to communicate directly with him to protect yourself. You should be aware that he may be contacting you because he wants to fuck up the divorce. Doesn't even need to do this much. I couldn't tell if divorce is final or not. But if it isn't, call your lawyer and tell him what happened and what you wish to do. He'll contact your ex's lawyer and explain it. Even go so far as to get a restraining order. Your ex isn't done being abusive. I found his words to you to still be abusive and manipulating. Tell your therapist what happened, too. My girlfriend, 19F, is getting better and better at work and along with her colleagues, and it's killing me, 20 meters, inside. We've been together for around 9 months, and we live together. I am happy for her. She had a truly tough year, using a lot of effort to work with her depression. She's doing so much better and I'm so proud of her. I can't help but feel deja vu, though. My last girlfriend had it real tough when I met her, too. After a year she was doing so much better, got promoted at work, and dumped me. Now I'm scared for my life that this girl, who I truly love and care for, will do the same. I know insecureness is unsexy, but goddamn the anxiety is riddling me. My mind at work wanders to places it shouldn't go. I guess my question is, should I discuss it with her, or should I try journaling and whatnot to get the emotions out of the system? I know I'm a good boyfriend and person, but that didn't stop my last girlfriend from leaving me. What would you do? Too long didn't read. GF is progressing in career and mentally, just like my ex did just before she left me, which is giving me anxiety and I don't know what to do. She's not the same person as your last GF. You think girls will only stay with you if they are in a bad place and insecure? I don't think that's a healthy vision. Let's break down why you feel that way. Is it because you initially had more of a caregiver type role in the relationship and you don't like the idea of your girlfriend not needing that care as much?